Alright, so we have reached almost the end, and now we have just done the data merging for Thomas Yap. So you can see we look at the last two courses that he had enrolled was A, leadership lessons and decision making, which is here. I've already transposed the data, and now we're going to delete. But here's here's one part which I forgot to mention. Now remember when you were adding data to the enrollment set, which is the pink set. One thing which I forgot to do was to actually sort the entire data in the pink set also by name and by enroll course, and this is to make sure that it's sorted according to the names and also the enroll course names. Now a problem could potentially arise here because as you can see here, I want to delete the 8 leadership lessons and decision making from the pink set, but look closely at their row number here, 404, 470. If you're not careful, if you just drag these two and you click delete, you see here, you're deleting rows 404 to 470, which means that you're deleting the rest of the data in between here. Alright, so you must be very careful. I've done this mistake before. Luckily, it was at the early stage of this whole building this dashboard, so I was able to figure out the issue. But at this stage, mistakes like this could be very, very fatal. So I would advise the first thing that you do when you have added the new data to the pink side, sort that as well, sort the whole thing as well, right? If you have not done it, be very mindful. So one way to go about this is to of course click on 404, press Control, and then press 470. All right, and so when you right click, it's just saying delete selected rows, and the selected rows here are 404 and 470. Right, so be very, very mindful of this. I made a slight mistake here where I didn't sort it, but I'm sure you would catch this, and make sure that you sort the whole thing by the colors. So the green codes and the pink codes, sort the two different set of data by their name followed by the enroll course, and be very mindful of their row number before you delete them. Okay, so delete selected rows and done. So we have done the merging for GSC for the month of May, and now what's going to happen here is we're going to change these formulas here a little bit. Right. Number one, number of registered users. Check channel information. They have 367 users registered. Alright, update that. Now look at the number of adopters. The number of adopters, if you see in the formula, alright, is defined by this particular data set called user GSC. Alright, this formula tells out of the total, this formula looks at the unique number of users in the green set. So see here, there's so many names, but it's actually essentially only 32 people who are in there. There's 32 unique names, but we want to find out if this latest data that we've added, are there any new additions to it. So what you do is you go to data, we go to named ranges, find for user GSC, click the pen, which is the edit. Alright, sorry about that, we don't want to remove that, of course. Now find, it's up to B126. okay, now you see you have to extend it all the way to 143. Go until the end of the green set. Okay, now when you go out, let's go back to this set of data here, and you can see there's 36 adopters right now. So there was an increase of 4 people who have completed at least one course in GSC, but because the number of registered users has increased, the adoption has decreased from initially 23 to now 9.81%. Now total course enrolled as well, you'll have to adjust. If you see in the formula, it is in the column of I. So it looks at the whole set, so I2 all the way to I404. Alright, which is around here. Alright, 404 is somewhere around here. This is the last data, and then when we add it on, it goes all the way until I481. So just update course enrollment as 481. Okay, now you might be wondering, what is this S12 here? What are we doing with this S12? This S12 is actually the missing enrollment names. Remember I mentioned to you there are some completed, those in the completed set which is missing an enrollment data. So the absence of these cells actually skews the initial enrollment rate here, because this particular formula calculates if there is a figure in the cell. But because there are certain cells that are missing the enrollment dates, it doesn't count that. So this missing enrollment dates is a count blank formula. It counts from the start until the end, and it looks at the completed set only. So that's why it's I2 all the way to 126. But this also needs to be changed, because we need to see what is the final completion set row, which is 143. So we change it to 143, and we have 3 missing enrollment dates. All right, we have 3 missing enrollment dates. So that is, of course, with regards right now. So the total courses enrolled in actual is 478. What about completed? It's the same thing. If you can refer back to enrollment, it's 143. So you just update this to 143 as well. Okay, that is the total courses completed, and the completion is automatically computed from that. So as you see, the completion rate has dropped slightly, because in last month more courses will be completed compared to the uptake of enrollments, but in this month of course lesser courses completed. But one positive sign here is that there's an increase in the number of adopters. So that's basically it for this tutorial. All you got to do from now on is to go to each of these. Remember to do the name ranges change. All the name ranges here have been edited accordingly. Usables is Boasted, Chin-In, GSC, Litramax, MRA, MRCB, Northport, Post, etc. So each client has a unique name range. Make sure that you do not mix them up. So if you go back to the dashboard, you can see there's already a change here in total registered users thanks to GSC, a slight drop in adoption, of course an increase in enrollment and completion. Alright, so do it for all the clients. Alright, it will be really nice to do it on a day. You'll need to invest at least 1 hour plus to update it. But by updating this, anytime if we want to know what is the current standing of that client, we know what is the adoption rate, we know how many people have completed it, we know what is the completion rate, and it helps a lot to know so. So thank you so much. You can always get in touch with me if you need more help, etc. with the dashboard. Thank you.